blessings. This is Jakim from the Hard Talk with Jakim. Listen, you can check us out every Friday at 7 p.m. on Facebook Live. That's the Hard Talk with Jakim every Friday, Facebook Live. Peace. The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions of DIN Media Studios. Any questions or concerns about what is said should be directed to the show host or producers. Thank you and enjoy. Peace and blessings. This is Jakim from the Hard Talk with Jakim show. Listen, I have to do the thing about the copyrights that we're using it for a fair use. So here it goes. United States Code Title 17, Copyright Chapter 1, Subject Matter of Scope of Copyright, Section 107. We're using it for fair use for criticism and commentary and also news reporting. So anything that we put on here, we're actually invoking the fair use of the United States Code Title 17 for copyright code. Peace. Peace and blessings, family. This is Jakim from the Hard Talk with Jakim show. Yes, we're getting ready to start it right now. Listen, today is May 6th. It's a Friday, so it's 7 o'clock, so you know where you should be at. Yeah, this is the Hard Talk with Jakim show. I am your host, Jakim, and we're going to bring some hard talk today. Oh, man, every time I come on here, I always say we got something important for you to see, important for you to hear, important for you to gather. And today is no different. So before we do that, let's take care of some business. If you want to get in contact with me, get in contact with me at btom6164@gmail.com. That's BTHOMP 6164 at gmail.com. That's how you can get in contact with me. That's how you can hit the email bag that we love to do. Whether you're haters or lovers of the show, either way, just make sure you email me, man. I ain't mad at you. Just email me. We've been getting a lot of emails about a lot of particular things, so I want to start off this one. This has been an action-packed week. Oh, Lord, there has been so many things that have gone on, has gone down in our United States of America, around the world as well, but especially here, especially in our Black community. I want to start off with this. We're you know that we have another show that's called The Trusted Truth with Jakim. Now, we haven't picked the platform in which we're going to show The Trusted Truth with Jakim. It's going to be about one topic per show, period. One topic. But we're going to hit it from so many different angles. You ain't going to see what's coming through. It's going to be a great show. I think we should be announcing it next week, next Friday, on what platform. The Trusted Truth with Jakim coming on. But don't fret. The Hard Talk with Jakim is still here, free of charge, on Facebook Live. As long as they have me, I'm going to be here. So we're still going to do the Hard Talk with Jakim. You know, I bounce around through many topics. A lot of them are for the uplift of Black folk. But the Trusted Truth is going to be one topic, maybe one or two guests, and we're going to hit it from every single angle. So stay tuned on when the Trusted Truth is. And, you know, we wanted to launch it before the midterm elections come. And here in Delaware, our primaries is in September, and the general election, of course, is in November. So, which is a great time. I've always thought that that's a great time. Other places, I see they've already had the primaries already in Ohio and other places, and they have them like in April or May, or here in Pennsylvania, they're getting ready to do it in May. I always thought that's crazy time. But I like the September. New York does September. Delaware do September for the primaries. Because remember, the primaries is 99% where you're going to actually have a choice. You actually choose. And, that's where it at. So, again, this is a Hard Talk with Jakim show. And first, I want to lead off with this, and I'm going to show you this picture. I'll be right back. Just show you the picture. Yeah, it's been reported, and the Hard Talk with Jakim show actually wants to send a heartfelt, tender prayers to the family of Kevin Samuels. Yes, it's been reported. Just came out in the last 2 days that Kevin Samuels, the controversial Kevin Samuels, has passed away. And fairly young, too. 56, 57, I think 56. Fairly young. I saw it on all yesterday. We saw it on, people were saying it, but it was never confirmed by a credible source. And, I don't like to put anything on that's not confirmed. Because, the reason why I paused there is because I've got a lot of issues with mainstream media. But if it's not confirmed by some media, and then when it finally got confirmed, I think it was the Revolt television network, which I think Sean Puffy Combs started it or have some major interest in it. That's when I posted it. So if you don't know, if you want to check me out, if you're on IG or if you're on Instagram, you can always check me out at The Real Jakim. That's easy. At The Real Jakim. You want to check me out on Twitter? You want to also follow me on Twitter? That's at The Real Jakim. If you don't know, we're on fan base now too, and that's going to be at The Real Jakim. So it's easy to follow us. So when they said that Kevin Samuels had passed away yesterday, when it was finally confirmed, I think it was like about 10 o'clock, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time, so many people had already put Kevin Samuels' picture up or put stuff up. In fact, I saw some of the people on Instagram put up that he had passed away and then disable their comment section because they was getting so many negative. If you don't know who Kevin Samuel is, I think you should Google it up. You'll find all of some of the stuff. He mostly talked about women and men's relationship, whether you agreed with his advice or not. I still going to say that a heartfelt, tender prayers to the family of Kevin Samuels. Now that I said that, we'll get back to a little bit of that at the end of the program. Let me just go to the other thing that was big this week. Dave Chappelle. Yes, Dave Chappelle. Guy tried to jump him on stage. Let me show you the picture of this guy. Yeah, he got a little diggy do on there because I think he had to get a little bit of tuning up. I think somebody tuned him up. But it was so funny because, it's not funny if you're on stage and somebody jumps. But here's what was funny and interesting to me. The white folks love to say interesting, so I'm going to say interesting. Interesting to me that this was I think it was a Netflix program. Don't hold me on that one. But there were a lot of people there. Jamie Foxx, I heard in one clip, Jamie Foxx came out on the stage. Busta Rhymes was there. A bunch of other comedians. And then at the end, Chris Rock came out and somebody said that he came out and said something like, Will Smith, is that you? Now, let me just say this. No matter what side you jump on with the Chris Rock or Will Smith thing, that's dead and gone in my book. It's dead and buried. But evidently, to this young man, it was still slapping season. I want y'all to note something here, y'all. I want you to note. I'm going to show you the picture again, and I want you to note his fingernails. Y'all saw it. He had black fingernail polish on. Listen, I ain't mad at you because you got black fingernail polish on, but I will be mad at you if you're going to jump on stage and attack somebody and don't think you should be getting a two-piece biscuit and a fries. Oh, but that's where we at. All right, y'all. So that was, I guess, Dave Chappelle being jumped was the big story in the black community and on black Twitter and all the other stuff that I watch. Jamie Foxx said something that we're here to protect Dave Chappelle. And I think that's to a point that can't be true. If you believe in Dave Chappelle's comedy, I don't think he's any worse or any better than anybody else. But I will say this. Some people actually question if it was staged. And now I'm not going to question whether it's staged because at this point in time, I don't know what the hell's going on in our world and never really did. Because what we see now is actually just more transparency than more violence. We actually have more transparency. So I don't know if it was staged or not. I couldn't tell you, and I couldn't care less. But I will tell you this. When the Los Angeles Police Department first charged the person with a felony charge because he had a knife that was shaped like a gun, and then later on drop the felony charge and have a whole bunch of misdemeanor charges, I always find that fascinating. And I'm going to tell you the reason why I find that fascinating. As a retired law enforcement from New York, I will tell you this, that in the commission of a crime in a lot of municipalities, if you, even though you didn't pull out that knife, in the commission of the crime, you're going to be charged with a dangerous weapon or something like that. Hey, there's a lot of municipalities that do that. You can go and rob somebody and have a ballistic vest on, and in some municipalities, they actually have a charge. Even though ballistic vests aren't against the law to wear, but if you do it in the commission of a crime, that's another charge. So I don't know what the LAPD is thinking on that. I'm sure they're going to leave it to the Los Angeles District Attorney. They're going to have the final word on what this gentleman is going to be charged with. I want y'all just check this out, man. Just check out his left eye. Did you see those knots on his head? Somebody was beating up on that boy. I'm just saying. And I'm not saying that is wrong. To a point. All right, y'all. So again, big shout out to the family of Kevin Samuels on that. And, his work, his legacy is going to be what it is. You could always check it out. You can always look at it. You always find it. I'm going to be right back, y'all. Peace out.
Justin Canoe, I'm a dad in Williamson County. Didn't plan on speaking, but here we go. First of all, critical race theory is not in our schools, and it never was. And the people here to complain about it did not know what it was 6 months ago and had never heard of it. That's why they're going after diversity, equity, and inclusion instead and trying to pretend they're the same thing. They aren't. And frankly, there aren't many communities around the globe that need DEI more than this one that we live in. On another note,
All right, y'all. DEI. We're going to get on that. Now, I did say that tonight I'm actually going to give you the 5 tips for black candidates who are running for office for the first time. The 5 tips. Actually, I'm going to give you 4. I'm sorry. I'm going to give you 4 tonight. The last tip I'm going to leave for next Friday. So 4. So later on in the show, I am actually going to give you those 4 tips. So if you're running for office, and you see this at a later date, you might want to record it, whether you go to YouTube at Delaware Info Now, or you go to our Facebook page as the Hard Talk with Jakim show. So you want to check that out. But before we go to there, and I'm going to lead up to there, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a young lady that I like a lot. And she lost her race this week, and that's Nina Turner. If you don't know who Nina Turner is, you can also Google that up. You know, she was involved in Bernie Sanders' campaign to run for president. She's been involved in a lot of progressive things. Her name is Nina Turner, and she lost again. Now, let me give you a little context here. The young lady that she lost against is the same lady who beat her the last time in the primaries, a Democrat, and who was actually a congresswoman. Doesn't really matter the name, but I'm just going to give you what the 35,000 feet view of this. So Nina Turner was running again, and everybody knew she was running. She filed early. She knew that it was going to be a tough one because the young lady that she ran against is now the incumbent, and anytime you run against an incumbent, it's always a little tricky. Well, technically, a lot of the so-called progressives did not endorse her early. And when I say early, I'm talking early April, early March, early January or February. The reason why I'm saying that that's important is because when you have a state that is allowing mail-in ballots or ballots to be mailed in, we used to call it something else, absentee ballots, and we don't basically call those anymore like that in most jurisdictions, but they call it early voting. And when the early voting goes through, the people that you want to endorse these people, you need to know that before you put them in, because those ballots may be in 2 weeks before the actual primary date that you actually can go straight to a voting booth. Well, what happened was a lot of the progressives didn't come out for it. A lot of the progressives did not endorse her. And the ones that did, and I'm not going to speak about the ones that did, if you're endorsing her 2 days before the primary, you're kind of late. If you're endorsing her 2 days before the primary and the ballots are out a month, 2 weeks, they probably already in. It's probably on purpose. I'm going to tell you that. I don't want Nina to say it. I don't want her to say anything. If you see her and she comes past the Hard Talk with Jakim show and see me, all I'm saying, I can say what a lot of y'all probably are saying. If you have, and this is going to go into what I'm going to talk about with first-time black candidates in the United States. If you're a first-time black candidate and you're running for office, you need to know the 5 things that I'm going to tell you. And I'm only going to give you 4 this week. I'm going to give you the 5th one next week. So all I'm just saying with Nina Turner is the progressives, the so-called progressives, do the same thing as the so-called conservatives. Or the left does the same thing as the right. Or the red gang versus the blue gang. Whatever you want to call it, I'm going to say that. And that's going to come up a little bit later on. So before I do any of that stuff, I just want to hear from State Senate Rep Sister Bulla. One more time.
Because when I get on a plane, I don't expect the airline to tell me they have a few bad apples on the flight crew. Or when I go to the emergency room, I don't expect the doctors to tell me there's a few bad apples working in the emergency room that day. And so the citizens of Pennsylvania do not expect from their law enforcement to have a few bad apples serving their communities.
Hey, y'all, isn't it always strange? I'm going to talk about the law and order crowd because remember, I was a member of the law and order crowd. And I still like law and order. Now, I want equity as well. Equity is even more important to me than law and order. Because let me tell you something, you can make up law and order which way you want. But let me just go there. Isn't it strange that the law and order crowd is always big on law and order, but not on police who violate or commit crime? It's always strange. It's interesting. Well, we already know that. So big shout outs to all. Remember, I've got the 5 things. Remember, I'm only going to give you 4. If you're a black candidate and you're running for office in the United States of America that you need to know. Again, I wanted a big shout out to Kevin Samuel's family. A big shout out to listen, a big shout out to Dave Chappelle. Because let's be honest, y'all. When we heard about the attacker, we was like, wow, this is the beginning of slapping season, or, I don't know. But when I first heard the attacker, the first thing came to me was, where's the security? And all of us that have been in law enforcement or have done security, we always say the same thing. The first thing that celebrities or other people always skimp on and always is important is security. And that's the first thing they always skimp on. So think about this. This guy had a knife that had a little bit of a blade, a little inches to it. Imagine if he would have stabbed Dave Chappelle. So here's my advice to some of you celebrities or people who are in the public eye, and that's also including you politicians. It would behoove you to hire security. Now, I know what you're going to say, Jakim. Jakim, a lot of these comedians and acts rely on the security of the venue or the security of the club. I'm going to tell you right now, don't do it. It's a brave new world. Don't do it. If you rely only on them, and I'm not talking about hiring homeboy from around the way to be your security. No. There's a lot of good off-duty cops, a lot of off-duty correction officers, fire department. We even had court officers that have the training in order to know, to really give you personal protection. No matter what you say, he reached out and touched Dave Chappelle. Could you imagine if he had the knife in one hand and he got that close? So this is your wake-up call. So I'm going to look dead in the camera. This is your wake-up call. If you are a public figure, you better get some security. Enough said. Or get a quality you better keep your eyes and ears open because it's that type of season. Enough said. All right, y'all. So listen, I've got not too many things to figure out to do today. I did have a great response, and big shout outs if you follow me on Facebook at Jakim Muhammad or at The Hard Talk with Jakim or many other stuff. If you follow us on there, we try to put some things that are important, things that will help uplift many other people and many of our folks. I want black folks to have a collective uplift, period. Here's one of the things that I put on. I said, if you want to go higher, you got to dig deeper. And so the James Brown one, you got to get in deep. I don't understand. I cannot understand if you got no money, no job, and you're living at somebody's house, how you're not trying to get to be the most productive that you can possibly be. Oh, it's bad enough that we don't own no industries, black folks. It's bad enough that we don't own all this stuff and to borrow something from Dr. Claude, all we do is sweat equity. I can't understand it. Even if you was the biggest drug dealer, even if you out there selling that fentanyl, which I, do not condone, but you should be hungry and be doing it. I can't see how so many people are allowing these young women and young men, and old men too, because there's a lot of old men doing that crap, laying up in the house, not producing nothing. Producing absolutely zilch. How are you letting them do that? That's not care. I don't know. Look, doesn't matter how small something is or how minuscule other people may say it, you got to be high on principles. If you're not heavy on them principles, I can't help you. I know my man was saying the other day, he don't talk to people who don't elevate them. And I understand 100%. If you got low caliber, let me just take one from 19 Keys. He's a big shout out to you, 19 Keys. If you all you got is low caliber conversation for me, then you have no conversation for me. Because the only conversation I want to get into is high caliber conversation, high level conversation, not no low level conversation. Those mean nothing. Those produce nothing. Low-level conversation produce nothing. We need to change. We need to get something better. So people, oh yeah, I had to, I'm reading my notes here because I got to read these notes. And one of the things I wanted to talk about, I think I talked about it last week when I told people, look, when you email me or when you call me or when you get to Jakim's phone or email, that's Jakim going to respond to you. It's not going to be anybody else. It's going to be me because if you're calling for help, I want to respond to you. I want to give you as much help or steer you in the direction. And like I told you, there has to be a destination that we have to be going to. But I wanted to say this. That's so many people, including your family members, don't understand what you sacrifice in order to help them. Hold on, Jakim, say that again. So many people do not understand what you sacrifice to help them. And let me tell you something. The best thing you can do is remind them. Because if you don't remind them, they're going to take it for granted. They're probably going to take it for granted anyway. But remind them every time all the stuff you sacrifice in order to help them. And if that pisses them off, so be it. No problem is settled until it's settled right. Now, I didn't come up with that. That's an African proverb. Let me get something here for my throat. That's an African proverb. That's what they tell me. But I love it. Nothing is settled unless it's settled right. Now, you could be in your own household with your own family, doing your own thing, your loved one, and you think something is settled. No, it's never settled unless it's settled right. And this is the way I'm going to talk about what we have here in the United States. I'm going to give you something today that's going to open up your eyes. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not the first to say it, and I'm not the last. The Civil War never ended. What, Jakim? You sure? I think it ended in 1865. We had the Reconstruction. We had all that, blah, 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 blah. And we had to... No. That's where black folks got it wrong. They think the Civil War ended in 1865. It did not end in 1865. It maneuvered in 1865. It evolved in 1865. It became something else. If the Civil War ended in 1865, you would not have redlining. You would not have Jim Crow laws. You would not have any of the terrible laws that all of these states made against black folks even after the Civil War ended, because they just pivoted. The Civil War never ended. And right now, we are in the Civil War. Let me show you one of the reasons why I say that. January 6th, I know it. January 6th insurrection was a continuation of the Civil War. Had nothing changed. Do you hear what I'm saying? Poor health outcomes, bad neighborhoods, environmental justice, polluters in black neighborhoods, redlining, all those disgusting things are just part of the war. The war is still continuing. Don't ever think the war was over. The war was never over. When they started putting up monuments in the South and in the North, and let me tell you something, don't think all the monuments to Civil War Confederates or people who sympathize with the Confederacy was only in the South. Because they were still continuing the war. And the war continues today. In fact, the civil rights movement in the 60s was an extension of the Civil War too. Think about it. Get back to me. Y'all can always get in contact with me at btom6164@gmail.com. That's btom6164@gmail.com. Just get it. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Whatever. Just get it. All right. So here we go, y'all. So I got to tape this one. Let me straighten up my suit. Let me straighten up my tie. And let me get my notes. First thing first. I'm going to do what a good parent does and what a good mom and pops do, or a good aunt or a good friend. Now, y'all know it like I know it. If someone close to you starts a sentence with, "You know I love you, right?" Get ready to hear some hard but necessary truth. Number five. 5. Remember, I'm only going to give you 4. But 5. Number 5 on the list. If you're running for the first time as a black candidate, doesn't matter if you're running for the red squad or the blue squad, Democrat, Republican, Independent. Before they get you to run, they will blow huge amounts of smoke up your ass to get you to run. This happens to all black candidates. Every last black candidate. Doesn't matter what party. They're going to blow huge amounts of smoke up your ass to get you to run. And then ... I'm going to leave it up to you to understand what happens after you run. But they will stroke your ego. They will tickle your colon with a fine wolf They will do that. It'll be those political groups that are progressive or conservative. And they're going to say, listen, you're just what we need for our party. A person for you, like you, would be great in our capital. You'll be a great congressman. You'll be a great representation for our party. Don't believe it. They want you to run for their gang. That's number 5. Number 5, they will blow huge amounts of smoke up your ass to get you to run. Number 4. Okay, y'all. Here's the 4th one. You and all black folks are just a means to an end. Oh, Jakim, what are you talking about? They really like me. They really do. They're going to give me as much support as they can. You are only a means to an end. For the most part, black folks don't vote as a block. I know some of y'all are going to go say, oh my God, yeah, most black folks vote Democrat. Yes, that's true. Most black folks do, but they don't vote as a block. They don't vote to get tangibles they vote because they believe that is what they should be doing. They believe the lesser of two evil malarkey, falsehood, lie. So they don't really need you but to show symbolism. You and all other black folks are just a means to an end. You know this because soon as you do something that seems to be too much or helping black folks, which helps America, by the way, as much as you help black folks, you're going to help America. You want to make America strong, help black folks. But as much as you think that they're going to support you, support, you're only a means to the end. You are what we need to look like we're doing good. You are what we need in order for us to look like we're doing good. All right. I'm up to number 3. In fact, I'm going to leave number 2 and 1 for next week, but I'm up to number 3 now. If they give you money, they want access to you. Now, that should be just plain simple right there. That's plain simple arithmetic. If they give you money, they want access to you. If they give you money, they want access to you. I can't see any way that you don't know that. So if you get a big donor in your campaign, that campaign donor, if you get in office, wants access to you. That's the way the game plays. But I got to say this because common sense ain't common. And if they don't have access to you after getting you in office, they'll get access to the next guy that they're going to donate, or girl, or that they're going to donate, or gal, or woman, or whatever you want to use, that they're going to donate so they can have access to that person. No, I am going to give you that third one. I'm going to leave you on this one, y'all. Here's number 2. I gave you the third one. 4, 5 was they're going to blow a whole lot of smoke up your butt to run. Number 4, of course, you and all other blacks are only a means to an end. Number 3, of course, if they give you money, they want access to you. And number two, I'm going to leave you with the number two. I ain't going to leave. Number one is for next week. But here's number two. Do not, while you're campaigning, lose yourself trying to reach the unreachable. This is very, very important because when you're campaigning, they're going to want you to be everywhere, be everything, be all those things. There's certain people who will not vote for your black ass. I'm just going to be honest as hell. They are, in my book, unreachable. One of the problems I have with the Democratic Party is that they were trying to reach, they love to put these games, the Ronald Reagan Republicans. They're trying to reach them. You're never going to reach them if they don't want to be reached. They're unreachable. You spend millions of dollars and you don't get them. But the people that you should be reaching, because we don't vote in the block and blah, 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 blah. Well, I'll leave that for it. Do not lose yourself trying to reach the unreachable. If you have a neighborhood in your area and the area that you're running with is mostly mixed, maybe high-income people, maybe not. Maybe low-income people, maybe not. But if those people are mostly white in that neighborhood, there will be people that will not vote for you because you are black, not party. Now, I'm going to tell you this. A lot of you don't understand that a lot of us, black folks, may vote Democrat down the line. They may not. And there's been some studies show that sometimes they don't. Now, that doesn't mean all the time, because some people are never going to vote Democrat. Some people are never going to vote Republican, no matter who's Republican running. I understand that. But don't lose yourself trying to reach the unreachable. All right, man, this is your man, Jakim Muhammad with the Hard Talk with Jakim. Let me just show you a picture real quick.
It's not a Democrat or a Republican thing. It's a workers thing. It's a workers issue. And we're the ones that are suffering in the corporations that you're talking about, in the businesses that you're talking about, in the warehouses that you're talking about.
All right, that was our brother Christian Smalls. Yes, that's right. Christian Smalls from Staten Island. He is now the president of that particular union over at Amazon. Remember, he fought a thing. He got fired by Amazon. Yes, he did. He got fired because Amazon did not want it. And Amazon, unbeknownst to a lot of y'all, Amazon donates a lot of money to Democratic Party and Democratic campaigns. Yet, very anti-union. So Christian Smalls was testifying on Capitol Hill. He was able to meet President Biden. I was very happy when he won that. I was very happy when I saw that he went to the White House with a Yankee hat on and Snickers and all. Everybody else was in the suits. He said, I'm going to keep it real here. So big shout out to you, brother Christian Smalls. Man, I hope that you stay true to it, man, because, you know, they'll throw the monies and the things at you, and then they'll see you. You know what I'm talking about. All right, y'all. I'll be right back, y'all, real quick. Hey.
Who's the real villain? History or racism?
Teachers and parents are protesting the newly found
All
race
research
theory,
is inherent black victimhood.
Here's the truth. Politicians have used critical race theory to confuse the public with culturally relevant curriculum.
Our classrooms have become political battlegrounds.
This is not education. This is exploitation.
And in 2021, 62% of teachers were concerned with systemic racism.
More and more states are forcing teachers to stand at the front of their classes and deny the heritage of their students, and in some cases, themselves.
What's more valuable? Adhering to a divisive narrative or collectively dismantling it?
This is not a victimless fight.
This is our legacy.
These are our children.
Don't erase history.
All right, y'all. Yeah, I agree with that. That moniker definitely. Don't erase history. More importantly, teach the right stuff, y'all. All right, y'all. This has been a hard talk for Jakim. I think I got one more thing
You know all
for
the money that white people made from slave labor? You ever wonder where'd all that money go? Enslavers weren't the only ones making money off of black human trafficking. So did insurance companies. In the same way that businesses today insure computer equipment, we see human traffickers insuring enslaved people as an early form of industrial risk management. Between 1846 and 1848, New York Life Insurance, when it went by the name Nautilus Insurance Company, issued its first 1,000 life insurance policies, 339 of which were on the lives of enslaved people. And they weren't alone. Aetna and AIG did it too. White folks figured out a way to not only profit off of free black labor while they were alive, but also in their deaths.
All right, y'all. So this has been the Hard Talk with Jakim. Listen, I'm going to, again, big shout out to the family of Kevin Samuels. I'll tend to prayers there. Doesn't matter whether you agreed with his should I say, relationship advice. Doesn't matter whether you agree with his relationship advice or not. It was sad to see somebody go at such an early age. Again, we'll be back here next Friday. Next Friday, I have the last one of the 5 pieces. If you're running for political office and you're black, and this is your first time running for political office, things you need to know that I'm going to tell you that nobody else is. All right, y'all, this is a Hard Talk with Jakim. We're going to leave it with one of my favorites, John Henry Clark, again, about Christopher Columbus. Peace.
Christopher Columbus, one of my favorite anti-heroes of history, one of the great fakes of all times. You know, a man, an utter fraud who discovered absolutely nothing. But Christopher Columbus said, as man and boy, I sailed up and down the Guinea coast for 23 years. Now, mangling with African sailors, he learned that there was a world out there. And he learned how, from African sailors, how to come to the so-called New World. When he arrived in the New World, he found Africans doing business with the Indians and minted corn. Christopher Columbus knew he discovered absolutely nothing. And the whole world has made a hero out of this fake. And among the Western heroes, I don't know a bigger fake than Christopher Columbus.